Thank you so much for joining in today. As always, I'm excited for the opportunity to reach out to you and to communicate the things that bring fulfillment and satisfaction in life. Today, I want to talk about the fact that we need to always have a plan and to have a backup plan. And so, thank you for joining in today. Today, I have this special package for people who are doing great things and people who are thinking about doing great things. And this is just the fact that you need to continually work on having a plan. And a plan is like a blueprint. A plan is like, a guide to what you want to achieve. And so if you're dreaming greatness, if you're aspiring to greatness, and if you're thinking great things ahead of your life, then you have to make sure that you're having a plan at least for everything you want to do. If not a daily plan, at least a plan for a short-term period and a long-term plan as well. So it doesn't just suffice to have a plan, as I will be insisting on this video. You have to have a backup plan. What if that plan you have right now doesn't work? What else are you going to do? Are you just going to back out? Are you just going to give up? Or are you going to find an alternative? So having a backup plan is the alternative. And so you have to have a plan A, but you also have to have a plan B. And what I've learned in life is that plan B may not be enough. But hey, remember, we have so many letters in the alphabet, 26 letters. And so you need to have a plan A, B, C, D, E, and so on. So you have to have a plan B. That is what I'm driving home here. Having a plan B is really important. And it's important because when plan A doesn't work, if you don't have a plan B, what's going to happen is that you will simply give up because you will see no other options. So while you're focusing on your mind on, doing things this way, think about the fact that they may not work out this way. And so what is the other alternative? What other ways can you find to succeed or to do the things that you want to do right now? So you always want to plan for everything you do. You always want to be that person who is, giving thought to the things that you want to achieve, to the point where you sometimes want to write down these things and the way you want to see them happen. And also it's important that when you write the plan down, that you also write a backup plan. So for instance, you're saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do in order to reach my target audience. If you are maybe a business person, in order to reach my clients, this is how I want to target them, maybe with advertising. But if it doesn't work that way, maybe if social media advertising is what you're aiming at right now, if that doesn't work, what's the plan B? Can you go back to mainstream media advertising, or can you go to word of mouth advertising? So your plan A was reaching your clients with adverts or advertisement through social media. That's plan A. Plan B is using word of mouth. If the worst comes to the worst, hey, you go out to the streets and you're telling people about your products, and you recruit other people who can do word of mouth advertisement. Or maybe your plan C can be, okay, if you have extra funds from your budget, maybe miscellaneous budget or whatever, your advertisement budget, you want to also do what? You want to also maybe use this mainstream media. It can be expensive, but that might also be your plan C. And you might also want to come up with a plan D. If all of these things don't work, what else are you going to do? There has to be something else that you have to give yourself options. Otherwise, you will chicken out. You would give up because you think you have no options. But you have options. It's that you haven't given thought to it. And so a lot of businesses fail because they didn't have a plan B. They simply had a plan A, and they never thought about the alternative plan. They never thought about the bailout plan. They never thought about what if this doesn't work? What else are we going to do? And mind you, I talked in my last video about dealing with negative thoughts, putting out those thoughts away. But let's be realistic. There are times that you are simply being, a realist by the way you are seeing life, and you're saying, hey, this is what I want to do. I'm so sure this is going to work. but as someone who is realistic, you're also saying if something were to come in between, if maybe something were to happen to obstruct this particular plan, what else can I fall back to or fall back on? So you have a backup plan. That's what backup plans do, is that they bail you out when plan A doesn't work. Plan B is the bailout plan. It's that thing that you fall back to when the initial thing that what you initially envisaged doesn't work. So having a plan B is really important, people. And so the last thing you want to leave things is you want to do is to leave things to chance. You don't want to leave things to chance, and this is why you will need to make a point of doing things. You need to make a point of doing things. You're not just doing things, allowing things to happen haphazardly. You want to give meaning to things, the things that you're doing, by having a plan. So what a plan does is that it gives meaning to your objectives. It gives meaning to the things that you are doing, because of the plan, you can be able to measure your success. You can measure your progress. And while it is true that everything won't always go the way you planned, it is also the more reason why you need to factor in various things that could go wrong. And when you factor in various things that could go wrong, you will find an alternative. So if this were to go wrong, this is what I would do to redeem or to remedy the situation. And if this were to happen, this is what I would do to cover up for that. So successful people, like I said, they don't just have a plan A, they have a plan B, C, D, E, F, and so on. So you have to be the person who is not allowing things to chance. You have to be the person who is consciously planning ahead and planning strategically, and also planning with wisdom. So planning with wisdom is planning with not just one single plan, but you're not just saying this is how I'm going to do it, but people of wisdom, they also say this is how I can also do it if this plan doesn't work. So having a plan B is what successful people always do. And the other people who want to reach a higher level of success, they don't just plan it verbally, but they write it down. And so the more detailed your plans are, the more effective they're going to be. So if you don't detail your plan A, then you won't be able to find the loopholes with the plan A to the point where you feel compelled to develop a plan B. So when your plan A is succeeding, you still have to have a plan B. I remember when I was managing editor of Health Magazine back in Cameroon, we used to have a very important column in the magazine which was going to inform all the other columns for the magazine. So it was called The Focus. And in this, we would bring a health issue and kind of give an overview of what it is we're going to be discussing in the magazine about that health issue. And so we always had a plan A and a plan B. So we'll have someone, an expert, we want to appear on that focus and write and byline the focus, but we also had a plan B of some other person. What if this expert we're going for, who is probably the best, what if they're not, if they back out at the last minute? What if something happened to them, even though we're not praying something to happen to them? But what if something were to happen to them where they're no longer able to write or to byline this article? What if they just simply gave up at the last minute? What are we going to do if the success of the magazine is dependent on this one column? So what are we going to do to ensure that if this person were to back out, we wouldn't find ourselves grinding our teeth? And so we always had a plan B, and in some cases we had a plan C, and this had always worked well for us. And so you can apply this in your life, that while you're planning things, you're always not just focusing your mind on one thing. This is why some people say not putting your eggs in one basket. You can apply it to mean that you're not only, thinking in a particular direction, you're diversifying your thoughts. So in diversifying your thought process, you're also seeing how differently things could be done. So if everyone else is doing things in this particular way, and you think, and this is the way that's succeeding, but you also say, I'm going to set out to do things this way, but I want to have a plan B. What if this way that has always worked for me and others doesn't work now? What else am I going to fall back on? So you have a plan B, and sometimes it works with your career. So with your career, you're going out and you have a particular organization you want to work for, and you've hoped and dreamed to work with that organization, and you're applying. Again, have a plan B of another organization. What if this organization doesn't take me? Where else can I go that I would still find fulfillment and success and satisfaction? So having a plan A is important, but having a plan B is where the wisdom lies, and that's where people stand out. That's where people are going to differentiate them, set themselves apart. This is where people would prove to be people of wisdom, when they can have a plan A and a plan B. Thank you so much for watching today. And as you leave from here, make sure that you're not putting your eggs in one basket, and that you're not only having a plan A, a detailed plan A, you're also having a plan B, and making sure that you secure your success now and for the future.